In the far reaches of the galaxy, beyond the fringes of Imperial control, lies Draco, a desolate planet shrouded in myth and mystery. A forgotten world, its surface a vast expanse of jagged terrain and decaying ruins, littered with the remnants of a once thriving Imperial outpost. Abandoned long ago, it is said that planet was home to a failed experiment, an ancient bioweapon designed to serve the Empire's darkest ambitions. But something went horribly wrong. What was once intended as a weapon became a breeding ground for horrors far beyond the Empire's control. The Xenomorphs, a parasitic and predatory species, had taken over the planet, mutating and evolving in the hostile environment. They grew in numbers, waiting for the day when they would once again be unleashed on an unsuspecting galaxy. That day has come. The First Order, sent by the remnants of the Galactic Empire to investigate strange distress signals coming from planet, now finds itself face to face with these nightmarish creatures. Led by the formidable Captain Phasma, they descend upon the planet, unaware of the terror that awaits them. The planet's thick green fog hung heavy as the First Order dropships broke through the atmosphere of Draco. The world beneath them was a forsaken wasteland, craggy mountains and dead valleys, with the ruins of an Imperial facility barely visible beneath the organic, alien structures that had overtaken it. Inside the lead ship, Captain Phasma stood tall, her chrome armor gleaming even in the dim light of the planet. She surveyed the battlefield with cold determination. We move quickly, eliminate the threat, and contain the bioweapon. She commanded her Stormtroopers as the ships touched down on the eerie surface. The squad fanned out, blasters ready, their every movement precise and disciplined. Yet, even the most seasoned troopers could feel the weight of the planet's strange atmosphere pressing down on them. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the distant howling of the winds. It didn't take long for things to spiral into chaos. The Xenomorphs attacked without warning. They came from the shadows, their sleek, black exoskeletons blending into the dark ruins. The first Stormtrooper never even had a chance to scream as a drone tore him apart. In seconds, the entire squad was under siege. Blaster fire lit up the mist as the Stormtroopers tried to fend off the wave of creatures. Phasma fought fiercely, her spear slicing through the air as she impaled a Xenomorph mid-lunge. Fall back, she ordered, her voice cutting through the cacophony of screeches and explosions. The troopers retreated to a ridge for higher ground, but the Xenomorphs followed relentlessly. Drones, warriors, and even larger, deadlier Praetorians joined the assault. The First Order's heavy artillery fired into the advancing horde, sending some Xenomorphs sprawling, but for every one that fell, 3 more took its place. The battle was brutal and desperate, with Stormtroopers being torn apart one by one. Amid the chaos, Phasma stood as a bastion of defiance, cutting down her enemies with deadly precision. But the true nightmare was yet to come. From the swirling mist emerged a raven Xenomorph, its towering form dwarfing the warriors around it. Its sleek body moved with unnatural grace, its claws dripping with acid. The raven charged at Phasma, who met it head-on, thrusting her spear toward its chest. But the creature was too strong. It swiped her spear aside, knocking her to the ground with a force that sent her helmet flying. Exposed and vulnerable, Phasma glared up at the monstrous creature. Her face, bloodied and bruised, was filled with defiance. The raven Xenomorph loomed over her, its elongated head dripping acidic saliva, preparing to deliver the final blow. She reached for her blaster, but it was too late. The creature's tail raised high, poised to strike. Just as it came down, a crimson blade slashed through the mist, severing the creature in 2. His presence was unmistakable. The deep, mechanical breathing filled the air as he stepped forward, his red lightsaber casting an eerie glow in the darkness. With a flick of his wrist, he deactivated the weapon, the raven Xenomorph's severed body crumpling to the ground in a heap. Captain Phasma, dazed but alive, looked up at him in awe. His dark form cut through the battlefield like an executioner. The remaining Stormtroopers, rallied by Vader's presence, resumed their attack, but the Xenomorphs continued to swarm, undeterred by the mounting losses. Vader strode forward into the fray, his lightsaber blazing once again as he effortlessly cut down the Xenomorph horde. With every strike, a creature fell, and with every gesture, the Force crushed another. His elite minions, black-armored warriors, followed closely, fighting with brutal efficiency. But the Xenomorphs were seemingly endless. Praetorians and Crushers charged the Stormtroopers, plowing through their ranks with terrifying strength. Despite Vader's immense power, even he could not hold them all at bay. Phasma, still recovering from her injuries, joined the battle once more, her spear slashing through the onslaught of creatures. The ground shook as a massive Crusher barreled toward Vader. He raised his hand, using the force to lift the creature into the air before slamming it into the ground with bone-crushing force. Acidic blood sprayed everywhere, burning through the ground and the fallen Stormtrooper's armor. The battle raged on, but Vader's patience was running thin. Realizing the hive itself must be destroyed, he gathered his strength, reaching out with the force. The ground trembled violently as the alien structures began to collapse inward. Entire sections of the hive broke apart, crushing dozens of Xenomorphs beneath tons of debris. With a final exertion of will, Vader brought down the entire nest, burying the remaining Xenomorphs under an avalanche of rubble. Silence fell over the battlefield as the last of the creatures were crushed under the weight of their own hive. The battlefield was a graveyard of death and destruction. The bodies of Xenomorphs and Stormtroopers lay scattered, smoke rising from their wounds. The few surviving troopers stood in silence, shaken by the horrific battle. Their victory had come at a terrible cost. Captain Phasma, her chrome armor dented and bloodied, knelt in the dirt. Her helmet had been lost, revealing a bruised and determined face. She breathed heavily but remained defiant. Though they had won, she knew the fight had nearly broken them. Darth Vader stood motionless, his red lightsaber extinguished at his side. The only sound was his mechanical breathing as he surveyed the scene. "The threat is contained," he said, his voice cold and commanding. But even as the words left his mouth, he sensed something deeper, a presence lurking beneath the surface of Draco. The ground trembled faintly. Phasma and the Stormtroopers felt it too, exchanging uneasy glances. The shuttle arrived to take them away, but a dark, ancient presence lingered. Deep beneath the collapsed hive, something far more dangerous than they could have imagined stirred, waiting. Vader turned his gaze toward the horizon, his grip tightening on his lightsaber hilt. The Galactic Empire had prevailed today, but Draco held secrets yet to be uncovered. And soon, the galaxy would learn that not all victories come without consequence. The fight had cost them dearly, but something far worse still waited, its hunger stirring beneath the rubble. What had awakened on this forsaken planet would not be forgotten, and the Empire's triumph was far from secure. Even as their shuttle ascended, the sense of unfinished darkness lingered, watching from below.